Hi yogis, welcome to day 5 of the Go Love Yourself 30-day yoga offering. Number 5 in numerology is associated with going home. So maybe we could take this practice to kind of slow things down and come back to ourselves just a little bit more. We're going to start off on our backs today. So coming onto your mat or a towel or whatever space you have for practicing. Let's just lengthen out. We'll take the feet further than hip width apart, and we'll just take our hands out into a T position with the palms facing upwards towards the ceiling. Close the eyes and take a couple of breaths. Breathing deeply into the belly as you inhale. And then as you exhale, feeling into the lower belly and feeling that sense of toning through the lower belly as you complete the breath out. Relax through the face, soften the jaw, release the shoulders, and let the entire body become heavy and totally supported by the floor. From here, we'll bend through the knees. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Do a little rock from side to side. And then lift through the shoulders, curl the forehead upwards towards the knees, and push the knees in towards the hands to lift through the tailbone. Just finding some space and appreciating the length to the back body. We're going to take the left sole of the foot to the mat. We'll cross the right ankle over top. Pause there to push the right knee towards the space in front of you. And then if you want to go a little bit further for a deeper stretch, taking that left leg and hugging it in towards the chest. Feeling a nice deep stretch through the outside of the right hip, into the right hip flexor. And using your breath to see if you can breathe some space into any areas that feel tight. And we'll take the sole of the left foot back down to the floor. Stretch the hands back out into a T position. Palms facing down towards the ground this time. We'll keep the upper body where it is, keep the legs crossed just as they were, and let the legs fall over towards the left side. So now the sole of the right foot faces towards the ground, and the right knee reaches upwards towards the sky. We'll take the head and just turn it towards the right hand for a nice spinal twist. An option to reach down towards that right foot or right ankle. Draw it a little bit closer in for even more opening and a deeper stretch. Let's bring it back up through center. Uncross the legs, draw both knees in towards the chest, rock from side to side one more time. And then bringing that rocking motion to stillness, lift the shoulders, lift the head, forehead towards the knees, doesn't matter if it touches. And then we'll release everything back down, moving to the next side, taking the left ankle, crossing it over top of the right knee, where we'll push that left knee towards the space in front. Again, looking for that gentle opening to begin with through the outside of the left leg. Option to stay and work here. You can even have your hand kind of gently pushing on the knee or the thigh. Or we can go a step further and start to draw that knee in towards the chest. And as best you can, try and keep the shoulders and the arms relaxed so we're not creating strain here. Breath by breath and moment by moment, opening up just a little bit more. Sole of the right foot comes back down. We keep the legs crossed, arms stretch out. Lower body falls over towards the right side this time. Head turns towards the left. And if we want to take it a little bit deeper, we'll reach down towards the left ankle, draw that foot in just a little bit more, and pull back through the left hip. Releasing the hold of the left foot, taking the legs back up through center, uncrossing the feet, tugging the knees in towards the chest. This time we'll extend the legs upwards towards the ceiling, pushing out through the heels and drawing the toes back towards the face. Maybe even trying to fan the toes out so that we can see a little bit of space in between each toe. We'll engage the core to hold the legs in place. We'll reach the hands upwards towards the ceiling, shoulder width apart. And then from here, we'll engage core just a little bit more, reaching the shoulders, reaching the head, and maybe even lifting the tailbone off of the floor. Let the upper body come down, hug the knees in towards the chest one more time, rock from side to side. And then one more time, reaching the hands and the feet upwards towards the ceiling, lifting through the shoulders, lifting through the head, tailbone reaches upwards, core is engaged, and we're looking for that activation between the belly button and the pubic bone. Letting everything release back down towards the mat, hands to the knees. We're going to circle the knees in opposite directions as though we were creating a nice deep figure 8 here. We'll take a couple of circles, move them in the opposite direction. You might even notice that the pelvis tips backwards and forwards and that there's a little bit of movement into the low back here as the legs travel. Releasing the feet back down to the floor, roll to one side, bring yourself all the way back up into a tabletop position, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. From here, we'll just create a few circles with the torso as though we were inside a barrel. Maybe it's the barrel of our favorite thing, whether that's chocolate or tequila. And it's like we're trying to get every last drop of our favorite thing out of the inside of this barrel. So there's lots of movement with the torso. And then we're going to take those movements, move them just in the opposite direction. Looking for space in between each vertebra. And then eventually those circles will come to stillness. We'll take a plank position. So lifting the knees, pushing the heels towards the space behind you. And we're going to hold here for the count of 3, 2, 1. Option to lower the knees back down to the mat to come down to the floor, or keeping the knees lifted and lowering down through chaturanga, keeping the elbows hugged in towards the sides of the body as we slowly lower, hips coming down last. From here, we'll slide the elbows forward and take a Sphinx pose. Fingertips pointing forward and hands drawing back towards the hips to help us lengthen the spine as we lift the chest. So there shouldn't be any pain or pinching into the low back. We want to imagine space in between each vertebra here as we lift up. And then the neck is neutral, so chin is slightly tucked and we're pushing just really gently into the back of the head. We'll walk the elbows out to lower the upper body, and then we're going to come into an upper body stretch. So the left hand is going to plant on the floor, our right arm reaches out beside us. We'll push into that left arm, roll to the side, and options here are just to bend the knees, one knee on top of the other, or we can take this top leg and reach it behind. Seeing if you can ground a little bit of that pinky finger on the right hand down towards the earth, relaxing the shoulders and the head, allowing the body to be totally supported by the floor here. So no muscular contraction. Rolling out, right arm bends, the left fingertips reach out. And then slowly transitioning to the other side, looking for that place where we feel a decent amount of stretch, but not too much. Sending breath into any areas that are tight. And then slowly rolling all the way back out. We'll take the hands, just place them underneath the shoulders, either lifting up through our tabletop position or lifting up through plank position. One time, just sending the hips up and back into a downward facing dog. And then lowering the knees back down to the mat, untucking the toes, settling the hips back. Let's take hands towards heart center. Drop the chin down towards the chest, lengthen out through the back of the neck. Tuning into that sense of gratitude for our health and our well-being, all the abundance that's around us. And then sending some of that juiciness out to the rest of the world. Namaste, yogis.